All right, I just wanted to talk about something. Hey guys, it's also Kevin. I'm gonna start using my real name because I don't know. I don't really associate my gamer name with politics and just, you know, logic or whatever. But the two topics I want to talk about is terrorism and armies and like war related stuff and like high level government related stuff. But see, the thing that really confuses me, not confuses me, I kind of understand, but it's a very ignorant. You know, when you have wars, there's obviously, casualties. There's kids, families, people who aren't always part of war. That's a given. It's war, right? This might be a hot take, but in any type of war, if you pay attention to the history of wars throughout anywhere, there's always casualties of people who don't partake in, the activity or whatever the war for per se, right? But the thing that I wanted to talk about today is the difference or the similarities with the army. Doesn't matter where, Russia, Ukraine, Canada, blah blah, wherever you name it, and then people who are terrorists, terror people, right? People who terrorize. So if you pay attention to the army, in the army shoes, what's it called? So in the army shoes, when they kill people, they kill civilians. Sometimes they kill terrorists. Sometimes they kill civilians. Right? That's just part of the grotesque nature of war, right? And just battle. But they're very similar. So the army, let's say the American army, they kill terrorists, right? They shoot them down, but then there's also people who aren't part of that nature, who are just wanting to live and live their lives and that are killed off. So why aren't so the thing I'm saying is why aren't those guys categorized as terrorists? They might not condone stuff for terrorizing, right? Because we live in the west. Well, I live in the Western world. It depends where you're from, but in the eastern side of the world, those guys in their shoes, they would assume, or they see the USA or like whatever the army people as terrorizers because they're killing off their people, right? Same thing. If the terrorists, blew themselves up or whatever, um, killed a bunch of casualties. Sometimes they kill casual. I mean, not casuals. They kill off civilians. That's what I meant with the army. So they kill off civilians and families and blah blah blah. People who aren't part of the nation, and the terrorists do the same. But obviously a higher extreme of extent. But that could be also just the series of hatred towards a certain race of people, right? Like the I'm sure the people on that side they really dislike, you know, the West End or whatever, right? Vice versa. The West End doesn't like the East, or in that take in the war reference. But yeah. So in my eyes, there's no difference. They're both killing, right? Civilians, people in the war who partake in the war. But why are those guys terrorizers or terrorists? But the army isn't. Very ignorant, right? So I've not developed, but I've been thinking of a word to describe this type of reality, or two words, I should say. But the two words are ignorance and reality, or reality, ignorance, to put together. The reality that we truly live in, it's very ignorant. It's very ignorant. And there's a lot of power and corruption and politics and everything, man. There's people out there that say that people deserve what they deserve, right? But then some of those people, there's people that also don't deserve what they deserve, if that makes sense, right? Like people who don't partake in any war, social government, blah blah blah, and those people dying off, it sucks, but that's just part of our nature. Death, life, and repeat. Eat, sleep, repeat. That's the simulation we live in. The ignorance simulation, or there's a lot of topics, right? Or there's a lot of variables. There's ignorancy, then there's corrupt, there's greed, there's manipulated. There's just so many types of topics. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and if that makes any sense. Like terrorists could be seen as army in their side of the world, right? So on the east end of the world, the terrorists or whatever, the group of people that, you know, fight for their country, suicide bombing, blah blah blah, you know, fighting, shooting. Those guys are seen as army in a sense to a certain population, right? They obviously have their own army too, who fight the terrorists, but in the global spectrum of things, anyone who kills civilians, blah blah blah, in my eyes, that's just personally how I feel. It's it's very terrorist like. So yeah. Anything else I want to say? Um, anything to end it off? Um, let's see here. Trying to think. So killing, and then there's obviously a lot of manipulation, and sometimes you're forced to do things, right? Like with the army, I'm sure there's many times where people are forced to do their things and their jobs. That's part of safety, right? The safety of the future or whatever. But I don't know. The way that things are headed nowadays in the world, oh god, man, like I don't know. It's very interesting. You have a terrorist like politics now, or not terrorist politics, but like the people that took back Iraq or Pakistan. I forgot where they took over, but those guys are like a terrorist government or something now. And you know the people over there are truly suffering. If you've done your research and you know keep up with it, but like Jesus, man, it's like fucking poverty times 10. It's really bad there. People constantly dying just because of poverty and supply cutoffs because of the terrorists, and the world's cutting themselves off from that area. But yeah, yeah, we'll see where the world's headed in the next fucking 10 years, 20, 30, when I pass away. We'll see. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. Just my quick take, hot take, I guess you could say. But yeah, I don't condone any war, violence, killing, harassment, you know, abuse, anything along those lines. I'm just very against it. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Take care, guys. Have a good night. Have a good morning. And I'll see you next time on the stream, possibly. But yeah, maybe a new topic within this week. Tomorrow, we'll see. Bye bye.